Regular season is over, and a fresh batch is what I'm looking for, of new mocks are out. We see who the Broncos are getting, scenarios around the AFC, what scares us, what makes us laugh. Boy, we've got a national semifinal coming right now. Time to preview that thing, tell you all the future Broncos we're looking at tonight and tomorrow night, starting now. Draft Pod. We're doing it, baby. That's right. What a time to be alive. Draft over everything. Sports over everything.
Yes,
the
sir.
future of football over every damn thing. It's happening. My guy's so locked into the transfer portal, he didn't even realize we had a national semifinal tonight.
It's crazy.
I'm sorry I put you on blast with
all
that, but he's gearing up right now. We've got a new Fran Duffy mock. We've got new mocks all around. Can't wait to talk about who the Broncos are being mocked, the whole shebang. So yeah, as I like to say, we truly are doing it. We're doing
back.
the damn thing.
We're freaking back, baby.
Yep, we are. Nice use of language. I like that.
Got you.
My
It's a family
7-year-old
show, you know?
It is a family show. Lucia might be watching from school. You
Hi,
never
Lucia.
know. Yeah, hi, Lucia. If you're watching, we're in big trouble. So yeah, let's do the damn thing, man. It's gonna be like 30 minutes of draft pod talk, and then declarations, and then CFP preview.
Let's go, man.
Yeah, it's all the future of football as we talk about. So let's get into this Fran mock because he dropped it nice and fresh. It's in his newsletter. If you're not subscribing, it's free. You
Get
find
on
it
that.
on the website. It's that easy. He's covering all sorts of things. And Yaya's got the graphic. He can bring that up. No rush, though. There you go. Fernando Mendoza going 1 overall. That was your scariest scenario for the Raiders to draft. He's the guy who we see as most plausible to being able to turn around the Raiders franchise.
Do you not think so?
I mean, he's an adult in the building. I think you're
exactly
right.
why. I think that's why it's going to...
100%.
If anything, I mean, look, I think he's got some Brady-ish stuff that,
Yep.
he would be attracted to. And then, obviously, new coach. We'll see who that is. But, I mean, he's an older player. He's played a lot of football, a lot of good football.
Yeah.
And he's got some weapons if he can protect him. So.
100%. As a prospect, he's far from perfect. This isn't some
Yes.
generational number one type
Right.
QB, but he's got the size. He's got a good arm. He's accurate. He's pretty cerebral. I think he'd fit into a pro-style system pretty quickly and be able to figure some things out. But yeah, I also think the Broncos pass rush could give him crazy headaches. This is a guy who just a year ago at Cal, if I'm not mistaken, had 42 sacks. And we saw in first couple drives against Bama, he was on the ground a lot.
First few plays against Ohio State in the Big Ten title game where he gets walloped.
Gets knocked out.
Yeah.
But was tough. So, and then the crazy one is that too, Dante Moore to the Jets. Lots of chatter that if Dante Moore gets an indication he would be drafted by the Jets, he should just go back to Oregon.
Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I guess so. And I mean, some people connecting the dots already that Ty Simpson is declaring because he's assuming that Dante Moore wouldn't be, and he can be kind of insert himself into that QB2 spot. What the Jets do is going to be very interesting. And the fact that the chatter's already like guys should stay in school and just get NIL money is pretty nuts.
Well, the NIL and transfer portal market is ballooning. Last year, it was like $2 million for a top quarterback. This year, it's $5 million. It's more than doubled. And how does it slow down? Because these markets are just going to keep going.
No doubt. Yeah, it's almost like we need a governing body here to...
Any type of rules would be nice.
Yeah, no doubt. The mock then continues. Francis Mauigoa at 6. He's a guy we were talking about as a riser after the playoffs, has had 2 back-to-back really strong showings. The right tackle for Miami. I think one of my biggest notes, reactions to these latest mocks is Mauigoa kind of feels like he's been able to establish himself as the top offensive tackle in this class, at least with this playoff run. Obviously very fluid. We shall see what he's able to pull off in the national semifinal. Going to be very interesting. But yeah, I find that pretty fascinating. David Bailey at 7. In Fran's mock, he's the 3rd edge to go, because Fran sees Arvell Reese as more of a true edge and not an edge/linebacker. And he's got Keldrick Falk, who has an edge/defensive tackle. But as far as true edges, David Bailey, Texas Tech, despite that kind of poor showing from Tech and getting, little Boyd by Oregon, the defense did play well. Jacob Rodriguez, I think, still had some strong showings. Now, he's more of a speed edge. There are some questions on his power and run defense, but as we talk about, also don't overthink this stuff. Like, bet on the guys who have the premium traits, who are going to be able to...
Who produced?
Yeah. Wide receivers going high. You've got Carnell Tate, 5th overall. You've got Jordan Tyson, 8th overall to the Saints. Mm-hmm. And then Kenyon Sadiq, the Oregon tight end, going 9th to the Chiefs. You describe this as a bit of a nightmare scenario.
It absolutely is. I mean, this is just simple subtraction and addition. Even if Travis Kelce doesn't leave, it's another tight end that they're going to have just Mahomes to rely on the next 5+ years.
Yeah, and as Mahomes has become less of a deep throw passer, less of a big play maker, having that safety blanket like Sadiq would be really useful for the Chiefs. And on top of it, even though he's undersized, he is one hell of a blocker. Mm-hmm. So just a complete tight end. I think, gosh, I can't remember the last tight end I've been this high on.
I
was high on Trey McBride, but he was more like fringe first rounder than a set and forget top 15.
We were all really high in Kyle Pitts.
Yeah, Kyle Pitts. Oh, and Tyler Warren just a year ago. Yeah, I guess I forgot about that. Also, the Colston Loveland breakout. That's been intriguing the last few weeks. He made it so that I didn't end up in last place in our DNVR fantasy league. So that was fun. Caleb Downs goes 10th overall. I think one of the fun topics as we look at these mocks is how low can the top prospect in the entire draft go? But because of positional value, the fact that he's a safety and the fact that it's not just a safety, he's a safety that's producing the most when closest to the line of scrimmage,
right?
Which is not a premier trait. As we were talking about last episode, the premier trait safeties are the single high guys, the guys who you trust as your true free safety and be able to cover, and be that deep guy and cover deep for you. Now, Downs can also do that. I think it's being lost a little too much in, yes, he's a stud close to the line of scrimmage. He's also a stud away from the line of scrimmage and in coverage.
Yeah.
When used that way. To me, as a complete safety, 10th, I think, is about his floor. Going to the Bengals, them being able to add that type of blue chipper to that defense would be big time.
Yeah. We'll see if they're able to keep up the defense around him, though.
It's going to be interesting.
But
lots of changes coming there.
Yeah. Bengals have had some really good safeties prior to. I mean, a bunch of Buffs fans in the chats where Robert Livingston came from. That's where he was coaching safeties and stuff, too. He's obviously been gone the last few years, but they've had some good ones over the last 10+.
Well, and Cam Britt is a free agent as well. So it kind of be like you take one out and you just plug another one in.
Kyle
I don't know.
Pitts also free agent.
Yes, Kyle Pitts is also a free agent. There's some intriguing free agent tight ends.
Yeah.
Njoku's going to be back on the market. I definitely think the Broncos can come away with a nice free agent tight end if the board doesn't fall their way and Sadiq doesn't drop to like the late 20s, early 30s.
It's a pipe dream, but let's hope.
Yeah, I know. We've hyped him up too much, sadly. He's been on too many thumbnails on YouTube for us. We are part of the problem, and I apologize. Then you have Ruben Bain, 11th overall. Seems like despite the talk of like arm length and what have you, he's not going to drop out of the top 15. Again, the pipe dream of like, could he drop to the Broncos and be your JFM replacement, I think is indeed a pipe dream. He's another guy who's been killing it in the playoffs. Sonny Styles, 12th overall, a guy who's played really well, Big 12 championship, and in the playoffs, a linebacker we've talked about as a potential guy who could be around for the Broncos pick with, Singleton, Sternad as free agents, Greenlaw, the injury concerns, what have you. Jose's in the chat, so he'd obviously love a linebacker to the Broncos. He's been pounding the table for that for like 3 years here in the Toyota chat. I don't think that guy can be Sonny Styles because not just Fran, but every other mock seems to have him going top 20 at the very least.
I mean, it makes sense. Very, very productive career at Ohio State. I mean, not as productive as he was last year. He's going to play 2 less games now. So that probably plays in a bit, but really good production, man. I mean, he's as close as you get to a first-round lock at that position.
Yeah, 100%. And he's a converted safety.
Right.
Like he does.
He's got some athleticism.
He does everything well. He's a beast. We keep it moving. Kadyn Proctor going 14th overall to the Ravens. Man, that's the old Ozzie Newsome being able to pick up a Bama prospect.
Yep. Interesting,
Fran has him listed as a guard.
All right. I mean, I've seen a lot of that actually since he's declared. A lot of people thinking he's more interior.
Now, just as how high can Caleb Downs go, how low can Kadyn Proctor go? I think Fran's one of the mocks that has him mock the highest. 14th overall, higher than I'm seeing. I'm even seeing him in the 20s in a lot of mocks, and we've kind of dabbled in like, would he be a guy who you try to move up a couple spots for because of him sliding? The talent is otherworldly.
Mm-hmm.
Otherworldly. The tape, a little sloppy at times.
Yeah.
Though it's also been high end. I mean, he's even caught some passes and taken carries.
Yes, he has.
At the goal line, he's a super duper athlete as far as like pure traits. And everything we talk about, like bet on upside, bet on size. It's a big man's league. You name it. Kadyn Proctor just checks off all the boxes. He's been a high pedigree prospect forever since he was a freshman starting for Bama on the offensive line. Now, there's also some off-field concerns where it's kind of been like he's chasing the bag. The fact that the season's been inconsistent doesn't necessarily bode well. He did Iowa super dirty.
Yeah. Very young player, though.
Yes, young, super duper talent. And just like always kind of been a freak prospect.
And one of 4, I think, offensive linemen that Fran has in this first round, which is what you're talking about. Like, there's not many of these guys, first off, so they're not going to fall that far.
Yep. Even though maybe there isn't a set and forget blue chipper, especially blue chipper as like he's a left tackle blindside protector, there's still a lot of O-linemen who are going to go high, and that's just a need that matches up with a lot of teams.
Yep.
Okay, good for us. We got through the first half of 1 mock, so on a strong pace. I love it. We're going to take a quick break, shout out to some of our sponsors, and we're going to be right back to talk about the rest and some of the other topics that we find interesting, and talk some Broncos mock picks.
Yes, sir.
On the other side. Colorado Soccer Association. That's right, 2026, the year of soccer in Colorado, in America, World Cup coming. And on top of that, we got Summit FC. What a great time to get involved in the sport. What a great time to join Colorado Soccer Association, CSA, the official hub for 65 plus soccer clubs across the state, offering programs for youth players, adult players, coaches, referees, and families who want to get involved in the game. Beautiful. Kids can kick off their soccer journey as early as the age of 3. Dang, start them early, man. Get that footwork in. Whether you're playing for fun, competing at the highest level, or exploring a career in soccer, there's something for everyone. 'Tis the year. Soccer buzz is going to be out of control. Don't miss out. Want to get involved? Visit coloradosoccer.org to find a club near you and be part of the future of the game. And shout out to our friends at New Built Restoration and Construction. They're licensed general contractors who help with any project, big or small. They're available 24/7 and truly care about being there for their customers. The over 600 reviews prove that to be true. They'll work with your insurance to make sure a stressful process like this is as smooth as possible. Repair services offered, fire damage, water damage, mold removal, repair services, commercial projects. They're true DNVR fans too. Riding with the Draft Pod, you know they're hardcore diehards, and we're excited to support their business as well. When at home, emergency hits, New Built Restoration and Construction will be there at nubilt.com or call them at 720-903-4254. Let them know DNVR sent you. Bang. We are so back. Fun little Jose Toyota chat here. They cannot get off Ingram's contract without significant dead money, but they can move on from Brandon Jones, Ben Powers, and Dre Greenlaw, though. Been talking a lot about that in the last few episodes, especially Brandon Jones replacements. In the last one, we were talking about, I think we've been one of the few people talking about how O-line probably more of a sneaky need than meets the eye for the Broncos. But look, Ingram, it's still just 1 year remaining, right? And I think you could upgrade the position. So whether that's free agency or the draft, like Fran has mocked here, that might be worth pursuing. Let's talk about that because this is the only mock. And say what you will about Fran not always mocking or having the same ideas we have, but he does mock a tight end. Only mock I've seen not giving the Broncos a defensive player, man.
Okay.
Which is kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like we talk about that all year, and yet the way the board lines up is maybe it is more of a defensive player. I've seen a lot of CJ Allen being mocked to the Broncos. I saw our guy, Jake Galladay, the Cincy linebacker, who we've been talking up for like a month, being mocked on, what's his first name? Reed, the ESPN analyst. Jordan Reed's ESPN mock that came out this week. Love seeing that. I saw Amari Washington, the Oregon defensive tackle, being mocked to the Broncos, just kind of strengthening that defensive line. And I even saw Bleacher Report had LT Overton, the Bama 5-tech, really. I mean, he's a versatile defensive lineman, so he would fit. And they talked about JFM being a free agent, so credit to them for being on top of that. Not all these mocks are always as locked in on every team. Certainly not the Broncos, since that's less of a priority for the mocksters right now. But I thought that was fascinating. But we'll circle back to the defensive prospects. Let's talk Justin Jolly, the NC State, the Wolfpack tight end. 489 receiving yards this season, 7 tuds on 49 receptions. Fran's been high on him. You almost certainly have seen the clip of Jolly running in the touchdown as he's limping. He's doing the old school Madden. Greg Jennings.
Broke his leg.
Thing. And Jolly's an interesting move tight end. He's a little shorter. I wouldn't call him undersized, so listed at 263 pounds. So he's got some weight to him. He's got a hefty frame to him. Shit brick house, I believe, is the technical term. But But yeah, nice move, tight end, that Fran's been higher on than consensus for at least a minute here. And he has let me make sure this is current, on his big board, which you need to become a diehard to have access. It's so comprehensive right now. As his tight end 2, prospect 23 overall.
Wow.
And his 3rd tight end / wide receiver.
Wow.
He combines the wide receivers and tight ends. So pretty interesting. He's a senior. The comp on the mock for Fran is Dawson Knox. So that kind of move tight end could be an H-back, could move him around. I mean, with that frame, you could even play a little fullback,
Sure.
Kind of the H-back mold. Interesting fit. I thought that was one of the more interesting Broncos prospects to be mocked here.
Fran is on it. This guy is only 203rd on the consensus board. We'll talk about Mike Renner here. I guess he has him at 42, and that was before the season. But this guy, I remember hearing about him when he was in the portal a couple years ago. He was really productive out of Connecticut when Mora was there for his first and second season.
New Rams head coach,
but he scored 11 touchdowns, had over 1,000 yards and 92 catches the last 2 years at NC State. Very productive.
Wow.
Yeah,
I need to watch some of that Connecticut tape there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, one of the few bright spots for NC State this season. That's a program that's had better years than they did this year. So that's an interesting fit. Even Fran, as high as he is, has him second or third round, so late first.
Right.
You've got him going there. But it's also in part because of all the guys that are going before Justin Jolly. You've got Mekhi Lemon going to the Jets' second pick at 16 overall. You've got Jeremiah Love going to the Vikings at 18 overall. Wouldn't that be a crazy pick, man?
Yeah.
With as many weapons as that offense has had over the last couple of years, to be able to add a superstar running back like that at 18 overall would
with no quarterback still is crazy.
Yeah.
You're about to get nined. Yeah. You're about to get nined with those kinds of comments. Then he's got Casey Concepcion going to the Eagles at 23, yet another wide receiver. You've got Chris Bell, despite the injury, still going before the Broncos to the Niners at 26 here. Denzel Boston, 28th overall, the big Washington wide receiver with some inside-outside versatility. He'd kind of be a perfect Bronco. And then even some defensive linemen like Amari Washington, like Caden McDonald, like Caleb Banks going right before the Broncos, and a top guard in Vega Ioane. Sure. From Penn State going 27th overall to the Texans. So all those guys being gone sets it up to where the Broncos take a tight end and don't go defense like so many of these other mocks have them going. How disappointed would you be if things unfolded this way? Also, Zachariah Branch still available.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if disappointed is a word. It's another weapon. I'd like a wide receiver, but...
Wide receiver higher on the need list for you than tight end?
Can we help our guy out at some point?
Well, I know, but both would provide help.
Sure. I agree. I just think that Sean's been able to make it work with the tight ends on the roster. I'm not saying that you have to go, that you ignore the position, but
also a lot of 2 tight end sets we're running too, which is where I think a Jolly might
but I'm
work
not
out.
I don't know. I'll give Evan Ingram another offseason to prove himself. He was very productive in Jacksonville.
Also, maybe just sign a guy in free agency. You're going to have boatloads of money.
Exactly. But I don't know. We're in a position where we can kind of do whatever at this point. I mean, there are some needs as we've talked about, but they're going to have money, like you said, too. They're going to be flexible.
Yeah. Another disappointing one is Emmanuel McNeil, the Toledo safety, going 25th to the Bears.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be a nice little fit on the Broncos. I'm intrigued. Jermod McCoy goes 20th overall. A lot of other mocks have kind of gotten back on the Jermod McCoy train. Superstar corner for Tennessee. Missed all of last season due to injury. But now that people are going back to the tape, I think one of these mocks had him going top 5.
Who is this again?
Jermod McCoy.
Ah, right. Yeah. He did not. How many games did he end up playing?
This season, none.
Wow.
Yeah. And in fact, we need to look up the injury. I think it was like a knee. So I think torn ACL. So for him to be able to reestablish himself as a blue chip prospect, as a top 10 guy, which to me coming into the season he was, I think he needs to have recovered from that ACL well enough to be able to run a high 40.
Yeah.
That's where.
Very productive, though, in his 2 years that he played at Oregon State and Tennessee.
I mean,
6 picks, 16 passes defense, 22 plays on the ball.
His Bama tape from last year
Yes.
and Oklahoma tape is otherworldly. A true, like, outside superstar cornerback.
Yeah.
Oh, and Jared Peasley saying ADCB, always draft cornerbacks. Wow. I like
George
that.
Payton's burner right
Yeah,
there.
George Payton's burn. Shout out, George. Love to have you
Appreciate you,
tuning
George.
into the show. Another interesting one was Devin Moore, the Florida senior cornerback, going into this mock. I think Fran's the only one who's that high on him. In his newsletter, he talks about this, how this is a guy who's been able to go back to the tape on. He's had very nice production over 4 years for the Gators. 2 interceptions this season, 2 interceptions last season. He's a 6'2", 200-pound senior corner from Naples, Florida. My grandfather was from Naples, but not Naples, Florida. Naples, Italy. That's where the Simone last name comes from. That's an interesting one, and maybe a guy who, as George Payton's burner here in the Toyota chat talks about, if you're of that mentality of always be drafting cornerbacks, that might be a new name to add to the list in an already pretty nice cornerback class. You know, we've talked about plenty of these guys. You've got Avion Terrell going in this range, Kelly Jones, the super-sized Mississippi State corner, who I'm really high on. Chris Johnson from San Diego State's a guy to definitely keep an eye on. Keith Abney, the Arizona State
ASU
kid. Takario Davis, have we heard anything as far as him declaring?
Oh, man. I've honestly kind of forgotten about him.
You know, we've talked about the 2 versatile Indiana corners, Pons and Farrell. Those will be guys to watch the next couple nights as we consume the CFP. So, yeah, that's really intriguing. We're going to keep unpacking these mocks. Thank you to Fran Duffy. Check all his stuff out at PHLY. Check all his stuff out at DNVR on our website, and subscribe to the newsletter. We're going to give another quick shout out to our sponsors, and we will catch you on the other side. Just giving Yaya a minute. He's firing this up, and then we'll get into this.
Always waiting on Yaya.
Gotta talk some live.
Just kidding, Yaya.
Bet365, baby. What a time to be alive. College football playoff semifinals. Nugs and Avs getting crazy. NFL playoffs, of course, at the door. Starting to have more draft props as well. NFL awards. There's never been a better time to get in at Bet365. And new sign-up offer, $200 in bonus bets. That's right. You don't want to miss out. The only place you can get their exclusive offer using our code DNVR365 to get those $200 in bonus bets, and the only place where you can find our beautiful custom bets, our logo right there on the front page when you look up Broncos, Nugs, or what have you, when we're offering a custom SGP, boosting those odds. Breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win, lose, or draw. Sign up, use that code DNVR365, deposit 10, and place a bet of $5. As soon as that's settled, bang, $200 in bonus bets for you to play with. Must be 21 plus, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. TNCs apply. And then shout out to the homies, Ent Credit Union. We love Ent Credit Union. You flash one of those Ent Credit Union cards at the DNVR bar when you're checking out, paying the bill. Dang, man, you're going to come off real great. They are offering all sorts of great stuff. They've offered discounts on tickets. They've offered discounts on merch. And they're the official banking partner of the Denver Broncos. Their Denver Broncos checking account is loaded with all kinds of perks. Every 15 swipes on your Broncos checking debit card enters you for a free chance to win home game tickets, Broncos debit card, and also limited edition Bo Nix one is available now. You get 10% off food and gear on game days at Mile High Stadium. No surprise fees. If you're ready to bank like a Bronco, head over to ent.com/DNVR to learn more. Insured by NCUA, membership required. Account requires associated and Broncos debit card. Bang, we're so back. Love the Jonathan Morris 8399 in the Toyota chat saying, what about a DT if we lose John Franklin Myers? We talked about this on the last episode, so definitely check that out, Jonathan. Interesting question, though. LT Overton, we talked about the Alabama do-it-all defensive lineman, really a 5 technique, more girthier, more of a belly than JFM, who's more of a linear athlete. We've seen Amari Washington get mocked to the Broncos in this batch of mock drafts. I forget what mock that was on. I apologize. I've seen Caleb Banks, the mammoth Florida defensive tackle, mocked to the Broncos. But what we were talking about on last show is there's not a ton of similar to JFM, oversized defensive ends who would fit really nicely at 5 techniques.
Besides Ruben Bain.
And the other one is Miami's other edge rusher, Akeem Mesidor. Interesting, in this batch of mocks, we looked at The Athletic, we looked at ESPN's Bleacher Report, CBS, A to Z Sports, who does a great job. They're cranking out a bunch of mocks on their website. This was from Ryan Roberts. The only mock I saw, Mesidor, who we talked about, older prospect. So he's going to be a bit divisive because he's like already 24. I think he turns 25 by the time he's in the NFL. That had him in the first round of a mock was Todd McShay's mock, and he had him going as high as 19th overall. So talk about a divisive prospect with a wide range of possibilities here. I think he would be a perfect fit. A bit of that bigger edge. He plays as a 5 technique, even a 4-eye directly over the offensive tackle, can rush from the interior for you and just be another guy to add to that rotation. He's an interesting one for sure.
I mean, I like him. It's just all the things. He had an injury, I think, and missed a whole year. Been very, very good this year. And it's going to be an interesting conversation, just like we had last week, where how much do you care? Especially with these players now where you're staying in college football 5, 6, 7 years.
100%. And a guy who's really raised his stock in the playoffs.
Yes.
Because he was definitely not in this range before. Another guy that's not in a ton of these mocks, I mean, really, our guy Zachariah Branch, who I think would be fantastic at Georgia, would be a great fit for the Broncos. Just a phenomenal weapon. Sean loves his returners, and I think he'd be a really nice fit. Monroe Freeling, the left tackle for Georgia, kind of divisive himself, or maybe not divisive, but I think only a 1-year starter, linear long tackle, one of few guys who I think could truly stick as a left tackle and would be a really nice like developmental piece on the Broncos O-line. Still not getting a ton of buzz from all the mocks, but assuming he does declare, because I don't think that decision's been made final yet, could be a really nice Bronco in that range We talked about the Georgia tight ends. And then speaking to Jacob and his comment on JFM replacements, Christian Miller, the defensive tackle, who's kind of like LT Overton. I definitely think he's mobile enough to where he could play as a 5 technique, as that 3-4 defensive end, and then slide inside on pass downs, is another guy who has declared for Georgia and might be another name to keep under your hat for the Broncos for sure. And speaking of Georgia, the most popular guy mocked to Denver in all of these mocks was Georgia linebacker C.J. Allen. Meat and potatoes, comes down hills, going to play well against the run, aggressive, bat out of hell, and also has some nice sideline to sideline. I think is plenty competent enough in coverage to where if the value lines up and he is still around in the late first, I understand why like 4 of the 6 mocks we looked at had him going to Denver.
I mean, this is a great looking prospect already. He's played only 3 years at Georgia, 41 career games played, has over 200 total tackles, 13 and a half TFLs. I mean, very productive. A starter now the last 2 years. So, I mean, it all kind of lines up in terms of like the traditional things you're looking for.
Yeah, for sure. Another guy going back to the JFM types who might be intriguing is Anthony Smith, the defensive lineman for Minnesota. He's 6'6", 285 pounds. He had 17 and a half TFLs, 12 and a half sacks this season. Has he always been with the Gophers? He has, but he is a redshirt junior, so I'm not sure if I've seen him officially declare, but very productive, has that JFM type size, so he'd be an intriguing one for sure. But man, as much as this was literally a topic of our show a month ago, was like, or maybe last week's show, was like, are we overthinking the Broncos just going offense in the first round of the draft, when maybe it lines up to where you go defense and the needs might just be at linebacker or that JFM replacement or a BJ depth behind Brandon Jones, because obviously that's hurt the Broncos defense. And we talked about all those safeties. While it might seem crazy, it might be one of those where the Broncos surprise us, go more with those veteran weapons in free agency, where there's going to be plenty of wide receivers. There's going to be plenty of tight ends. There's going to be some really nice running backs.
Yeah.
I mean, ETN, Breece Hall, K9, just to mention a few. I think I was seeing like 50, the top 15 rushing leaders. 4 of them are free agents next offseason.
Very interesting.
And are still pretty young. I definitely think, JK's one of those guys as well, but depending on how you feel about JK, the value might line up. But we've talked running back plenty. The 2 Notre Dame kids obviously love, but Jadarian Price is another one too.
Sounds like Haynes is going back to school too at Michigan as well.
That. The Alabama transfer who was at Michigan. Jonah Coleman from Washington's a guy who we really like. Katron Allen, the big running back for Penn State, who decided to stay in school last year.
LJ Martin. Did you say
LJ
him?
Martin, BYU. We like him a lot. We were talking about him over Thanksgiving. Le'Veon Moss, the A&M running back, is a favorite of ours. So maybe not in the first round, but you're going to have some options at running back in this class. For sure. That would be another consideration. But yeah, definitely to monitor. And then the O-line stuff, I would not overlook offensive line, especially since you never want to be in a position where you are having to just start a rookie offensive lineman.
Yeah.
So having someone who you develop for a season and then is ready to go as a true starter in his second year in the NFL, I think is a better scenario than just starting a guy right as a freshman or right as a rookie Speaking of O-linemen, though, Max Ianakor, the Arizona State right tackle, is a guy I did see slip into one of these mock drafts. And then you have, Proctor, Mauigoa, the 2 Utah kids, Fano and Lomu. Carter Smith, the left tackle for Indiana, has been really impressive. I like that kid quite a bit. I saw Chase Bizantis, the left guard for A&M, declared recently. Caleb Tiernan, who's a bigger, linear, ass kicker offensive lineman from Northwestern. Nicky Prongos at Stanford. So there's some names for sure. And I mean, that's on top of Isaiah World, who we'll get to watch and what have you. So there you go. Should we get into the CFP before it gets too late and then we're rushing through that? Where did I open that tab?
We got Miami and Ole Miss tonight in the Fiesta Bowl out there in Arizona. I do not have a line.
I'm seeing Miami favored by 3. Also worth mentioning, Trinidad Chambliss they're trying to get him that 6th year of eligibility.
Apparently Ole Miss is already, if not signed, close to a deal. They're just waiting on that approval.
It's interesting because the way he's played and the way it's wide open after Mendoza and Moore, and even more, does he declare? Does he stay at Oregon? It seems like this would be the perfect time to strike while the iron's hot for a guy like Trinidad Chambliss and capitalize off this big playoff run you've been able to have. But he's certainly a big name to watch. The running back K1 Lacey for next year would be a nice guy to watch. And then, as we were talking, defensive lineman Xavier Harris, their big left tackle, number 51, one of the superstars on this defense for Ole Miss to watch for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got, that entire defensive line at Miami. You got to watch Ruben Bain, Messidor. I forget who in the chat was just talking about Moton Sr. He's a defensive tackle on the interior for Miami. They've got the other defensive tackle, Bly, I want to say. Yeah, David Bly, who's an interesting one. Fletcher, their running back,
yes, dude,
has been playing really well. Obviously, Mauigoa, the right tackle's one to monitor. So, yeah, there's going to be a ton of prospects to watch in this one. And what's your feel in this, man?
What Miami has shown in terms of being more meat and potatoes, I think is more reliable to this point. And Trinidad Chambliss has played really well, but this is going to be he did play Georgia, but I think this front's a little bit different. Going up against Miami and what they've been able to do defensively this year.
Yeah, and I mean, if Chambliss can pull this off, boy, I think it's going to be hard for that kid to stay in school.
It's probably the closest thing. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I know Joe Burrow went off in the playoffs, but
sure, but his stock was already pretty high coming into the playoffs, I feel like.
This is the closest thing to Cardell Jones I think we could have potentially had since that very first playoff. You know what I mean?
Crazy. And Cardell, I mean, literally started in the Big Ten championship,
right? Right.
He didn't have a season to build up to that. It was, but yeah, you're right. When's the last time a guy has raised his stock to this level in a playoff run?
Yep.
It's crazy.
And I mean, he's pretty sick. I mean, that 3-play, not sequence, but those just extending the plays against Georgia last time out. That is something that'll win you a title.
Yeah.
That type of playmaking.
Yeah, no doubt. I'll let you sit on thinking through who your pick is in this one. I just want to, no ad break here, but shout out our Die Hard sale. Got an awesome Die Hard sale right now. $36 celebrating the Broncos' run to the playoffs. You get access to all our great written content. The site is just on such a heater right now. I mean, every time I look, Justin's breaking down great news on like the new coaching hire for the Rams, transfer portal guys. You guys are killing it on the transfer portal stuff and all the breaking news with the front office for the Buffs, if we can call it that. Now colleges have front offices. Broncos guys are giving you such great insights, stories, film breakdowns, you name it. You get all of Fran's draft content, the Nuggets and Avs guys. I mean, no one covers those teams better and has better written content. Top of that, you get discounts at the bar. You get discounts at our events. Playoff tailgates coming up, baby. It's what a time to be alive. Every round of the playoffs, Broncos keep this going. You're going to get a tailgate that's going to be popping off. And then, free t-shirt as well. $36, like, to support your guys, to be a diehard, to be part of this community for that price. It's just insane. I wouldn't be pushing it if I didn't think it was something that we as fans loved and wish was available to us when we were just,
Yeah, no, you're right.
Normal. I mean, we are normal people, but I know you get what I mean. We worked jobs that weren't building up DNVR. So get in while the offer is available. QR code there. Go to thednvr.com, sign up, support us, and get in on all our great content, all our great perks, man. I don't want you to miss out. So check that out if and when you can. It means the world to us to have your support there. Okay, Jake, sir. Miami at Ole Miss. What you thinking, my man? I'm torn, man. I'm torn because so much of this really comes down to Chambliss over Carson Beck, and it's hard for me to not trust Chambliss over Carson Beck. Also, Ole Miss has they've played well. They've played like a team that really wants this and does kind of approach Lane Kiffin leaving them with a chip on their shoulder and come up big. But at the same time, Georgia's had the bigger tests and come up with the bigger wins.
Yeah.
I mean, Miami. Not Georgia.
But it's not like hard. Ole Miss is like not played anyone though.
No, they've definitely had tough tests as well. And they both have, it's not just the quarterbacks. They both have really nice, reliable run games. It's Lacey against Fletcher. Those are great running backs going head to head. So it's a tough one for sure.
I think I'm taking Miami still.
As draft guys, we kind of have to, right?
It's just more meat and potatoes.
And just more talent. Like that defensive line, which is what you highlighted off the top, does make a difference.
They might have the best receiver in this game, too, in Malachi Toney as well.
Yeah, right. That freshman receiver, another Sean Payton kind of guy.
Oh,
but we're going to have to wait a couple years on that one.
Unfortunately. But, I mean, it's not even like downfield stuff, though. Like, they find ways to get him the ball where it's like they're not stressing Carson Beck to make these clutch throws downfield.
Dynamic weapon, no doubt about it.
I'm taking the Canes. -3.
Oh, I hate when we agree. I really hate when we agree. I kind of think it's a bad omen in some ways. In fact, I need to monitor how have our picks done. But yeah, I do agree. I'm with you on this one, my man. Let's lock it in. Next matchup, Oregon, Indiana. I think for many, this feels like the de facto natty. And then who comes out of Ole Miss, Miami is more of the sacrificial lamb. Maybe though. It's been wide open. It's been parity, not just in the NFL this year, but parity in college football's been outstanding. The line at Bet365 is Indiana by 3.5. They beat them in an impressive showing earlier in the season. That's really when we were like, dang, Indiana's for real.
That was the turning point.
And Oregon's coming off like that OT win against Penn State. And we're starting to realize like, maybe that might be more fool's gold because Penn State isn't that great. Indiana's the better team.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Those wide receivers, Surratt and Omar Cooper have been outstanding. And the way that Mendoza uses them. I love their tight end fullback. We've highlighted him.
Yeah.
That's a perfect Bronco. Nowakowski,
I believe.
Thank you, Nowakowski. We highlighted their left tackle. Their center wins the MVP of the last round of the playoffs and how hyped they all were. That secondary with Pons and Farrell is really good. You've got Aiden Fisher, star linebacker. The D-line is missing one of their best guys, but they've made it up. I mean, they were hungry and getting after Ty Simpson in that game and just balling out. I remain a big Kamara guy. He had a much better season last year than he has this year, but they've got depth up front. Mikhail Kamara.
Yeah.
So
Bailey didn't even chart a tackle in their last game, and that's the guy that they lost for the year.
Right. So it's kind of next man up. And yet that said, they're the better team. I think Oregon's the most talented team as far as draft prospects. Sure. I mean, not just Sadiq, the backup tight end, Jermod Johnson. Oh, God, I'm butchering these names like crazy. I need them in front of this. I was seeing the A to Z Sports by Ryan Roberts mock had 2 rounds in there, and the Broncos' second round pick was him, Johnson, the second tight end for Oregon.
All right.
Oregon still has to figure out some things at wide receiver.
Yeah, they've had issues since Evan Stewart went down before the season.
Yep, exactly. But I mean, similar to what we were saying with Miami and their big advantage on the defensive line, I mean, the Oregon defensive line, it's all-stars. Mateo Ugalele, Tatum Tuotoi, the 2 edge rushers. You've got Bear Alexander and Amari Washington on the interior, both superstars. You've got Dylan Thieneman, who's a beast, their deep safety, and then Brandon Finney Jr., their true freshman cornerback. I was seeing someone online was saying like the best true freshman corner they've ever seen, just a superstar. He balled out against Texas Tech. He's been incredible this season. Recovered a fumble and had 2 interceptions. Like, really a star in the making, much like Malachi Tooney. He's 6'2", 203 as a true freshman.
Jeez, man.
So he's outstanding. Their talent at every level is incredible. But Bryce Botcher, right? The linebacker. I mean, they're really good. And it is hard to beat a team twice.
But it's the way Indiana kind of did it, though. And like the confidence they've found since then, I think. I mean, I
agree. They kind of feel like a team of destiny in some ways.
Yeah. They got the best coach in the sport. I mean, both these teams are kind of taking a trip here to Atlanta.
Indiana, that is.
What?
Best coach in the sport?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree. I just want to clarify because some could definitely make the argument for Lanning.
No, it's Kurt Cignetti by far.
It's an incredible matchup.
He's just got them rolling so much right now. I think that the like internal belief, especially after coming off that win against Alabama, like look at what Michigan did a couple years ago in that Rose Bowl. They beat Alabama, and that just kind of propelled them against Washington. You know what I mean? That wasn't even close. Alabama's still kind of seen as the final boss. Maybe that's the last time they're seen like that. But I think I'm riding the Hoosiers.
3.5 is the line at Bet365. Does that half point scare you at all?
No, because this could be I mean, they won the last game by 10. The way that they just pummeled Alabama, I think they can do it again. They got the best player in the country, too.
Their boa constrictor analogy. Yes, facts. The Heisman.
Yes.
I know, that's the other thing. We talked about everyone else, and we didn't even mention the top 2 quarterbacks that were in 1-2 in Fran's mock and basically everyone else's mock as well. I know. And Oregon, yeah, the talent's great. I don't totally believe in the offense.
No, me either. I mean, you mentioned they got wide receiver issues. Their leading wide receiver has 696 yards. Their leading rusher, I don't even think is close to 1,000 with Whittington. He's like, this page will ever load. 829 yards. I mean, they have 3 guys who have rushed over 500 yards. But it's not like there's guys like at the skill positions that I think you really have to worry about.
Outside of Kenyon Sadiq.
Of course, yes.
But that is like even Kenyon Sadiq's stats aren't eye-popping.
Yeah,
It's
46
the
receptions,
talent.
531 yards, and 8 touchdowns.
It's the talent as an NFL prospect. The fact that he's a true inline tight end, he's an absolute ass kicker as a blocker on top of everything else he brings to the table. Indiana, Miami. That's our consensus natty.
Yeah.
I think I agree, man. I think I agree. Okay. We've got 5 more minutes to talk through some declarations. Guys who we haven't necessarily talked a ton about. Zachariah Branch, from what Jordan Reed was reporting Monday, officially in. So you love to see that.
All right.
Another interesting one is Jack Endries, the tight end for the Texas Longhorns. Talented move tight end, listed at only 6'4", 236, only 3 touchdowns, 346 receiving yards. But the talent is there. Maybe a guy who under the radar, but could be very intriguing as a move tight end, a developmental guy you draft, round 3, early round 4, that kind of prospect.
They've had some guys there too, right?
They sure have. I know lots of people were pining for Helm last year coming out of Texas.
Have you done anything this year?
I was pining for the kid who came out the year before who went to Carolina. Stevenson.
Yeah. Shit, I can't remember his name.
We'll look that up too. Look at like Panthers receiving leaders and then look up Helm while I talk through a couple other guys. Parker Brailsford.
Yes.
Bama center.
Yes.
One of the better true centers in this class. A guy who's been on our radar for several years now, Jake.
Yep.
Has he always been at Bama?
No, he was a part of that Washington team with DeBoer when they were the Joe Moore Award winners.
Yep. So he's a really good center. I don't know. You re-signed Waterberg, so maybe center all of a sudden is the one position on the O-line that you're not really, right? Because you could a developmental replacement for Ben Powers. Yeah. Be a really nice
That'd be awesome.
upgrade.
They need to target him.
And then Josiah Trotter. Jeremiah Trotter's son.
Yes.
At Mizzou. Total ass kicker. Downhill. Stopping the run first kind of linebacker. Thank you. Jatavian Sanders.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Stevenson. What am I even thinking, bro?
It's all good.
I have, in fairness to me, I have rattled off like 50 names in one show.
You've done very well.
So credit to me for if you looked at the percentages of accuracy, I think you'd be more impressed.
On that note, Gunnar Helm, he's had a decent year.
What's he doing?
He started 10 games, played in 16, had 44 receptions, 357 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Where's he at?
Miami.
Oh.
Or I'm sorry, Tennessee.
Tennessee. Yeah, you got that right. And do you have stats for Sanders?
Jatavian Sanders.
Oh no, I'm falling
I'll
apart
find
here.
it.
It's terrible.
And Sanders is career. This season was 29 receptions, 190 yards, and 1 touchdown.
So not too impressive. No. But back to Trotter, another kind of linebacker to keep an eye on. Strong linebacker class.
Yes, very good linebacker class.
Strong linebacker class. We've talked about a lot of these guys. And yes, the Ohio State guys might be gone early. We'll see CJ Allen drops, but Bama has 3 guys. Oklahoma has 3 guys. Texas Tech has our guy, Jacob Rodriguez. Galladay from Cincy is definitely a name to know. Botcher from Oregon. There's a ton of talent. Even more so than the linebacker class who we've talked up. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be really interesting to see how this all lines up for the Broncos. Speaking of the Broncos, DNVR Broncos pod coming up in 30 minutes. Don't miss that. Schwan Man on top of all the latest on the Buff stuff. You don't want to miss him. Shout out to our guy, J Mike, who's killing it. Sign up for the newsletter. Follow him on the Ram stuff. Follow all his great Avs stuff and get in on the Nuggets, man. We're just killing it on all fronts. So I appreciate you tuning in and taking your time to watch the draft pod. You guys are true sickos, true diehards, and we love you for it. You get it. Draft over everything, sports over everything, Broncos over everything. Love you so much. Mile high salute to you. We out.
We all silly like the mayor.